So then a couple of days after, I had the third call, and it was more or less the same thing. Tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you can help me. And I was like, okay, this is like big red flags, like Las Vegas size neon signs going, Brittany, there is something wrong in your marketing. People do not understand how you can help them.
Welcome to Go Get Great, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and ambitious small business owners. I'm your host, Brittany, owner of Brittany Miller Socials and mother of 3. Go Get Great is all about helping you make life and business work together. You'll learn about the fumbles that helped get me and my guests to where we are today so you don't have to make them. So come join the journey with Go Get Great.
Story time. So I love it when I can use examples in my marketing content and all my podcasts to really help you guys understand how the things that I say and what I teach actually applies to your business. So I'm actually going to be using an example from my own personal business that happened within the last week. Probably a little bit longer by the time this actually hits the air. But to kind of set the scene, it's the beginning of the new year. And I've had a few new clarity calls pop up on my calendar. So I'm really excited. My marketing's working. You know, it's that new year energy. I really hope you guys can't hear Talia singing in the background. But if you do, I apologize. I've got a busy week and we got to record and we can record. It's very loud on my end. So we've had several of these clarity calls pop up. I'm getting all excited and I'm ready to potentially work with some new clients. So fast forward to the first call and they like immediately start the call by, telling me a little bit about their business. They're like, I'm looking for social media management services. I want to grow my audience and make more sales. I was like, cool. Well, for starters, social media doesn't necessarily do that. But if social media management is really what you're looking for, then unfortunately, that's not something I can help with. So you guys, if you've been following me for a while, know that I discontinued that service in the early summer of 2024. So basically all I did for that person, it was a pretty short call, was refer them to a friend of mine, Amanda at Brittany Socials. If you are looking for a social media manager, I highly recommend connecting with her. Even just give her a follow on social media. She shares lots of great tips and content ideas as well. I'll link her profile in the description for you. So that was the end of that call. I'm like, okay, no worries. I've got 2 more calls this week. This will be fine. Hop on the second call. And they're like, I always start the call, tell me a little bit more about your business and like what you're kind of stuck with and what you're kind of looking for. And they're like, well, before we do that, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you could help me? I was like, ooh, that is not a good way to start a call. A clarity call should basically just be an opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about the business owner outside of what they provided me in the intake form and to vet that they're actually a good fit for me as a business owner and for the services that they've told me that they're interested in. And for the client, they should just basically be hopping on to like cross some T's and dot some I's. They should be more or less ready to invest in a service. They should know specifically what one it is that they want, what the investment cost is. They might have a couple questions about timelines or payment options, but they should be like pretty much ready to go when they hop on a call. And if they're not, that means that there's an issue with your marketing. So that was kind of like running around in the back of my mind. Something must be going on here if they don't really know who I am and like how I can help them. Like, I'm glad they still booked a call, but obviously there's something that we kind of need to like go over. So I run them through the list of my services, which is kind of lengthy and I don't like doing that. And they're like, you know what? I actually really think that social media management is what I'm looking for right now. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, do you want to tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're struggling with? And like, then we can see if that's actually the right fit for you. They're like, no, I just really want social media management. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to refer you to my friend Amanda. And that was about the end of that call. So I just kind of want to put like a little note in here that these business owners don't necessarily need social media management. I often find that there's a really big discrepancy between people coming in to a call or something like that, not necessarily call specifically, but like going into a conversation thinking that they need one thing when actually it's something else that they need, but they're not kind of willing to like go through the process to make sure it's a good fit. It's like a pre-confirmation bias. They think that they are marketing experts and understand what it is that they need in their business and like what it is that's going to help them get the results they're looking for. But oftentimes that's not the case. Pretty much 90% of the calls I ever had with clients, they're like, oh yeah, I want to hire you for social media management. And I was like, okay, but cool. Now that you've told me what the problem is, that's not actually the solution to get you what you want. And oftentimes it's, they need to kind of build out their website a little bit more, or they need email set up so that they can generate more consistent sales, or sometimes they just need coaching and a little bit of guidance to do their own social media better, so they don't have this huge monthly retainer that they're paying out as an expense for their business. But not all business owners are kind of willing to go through that process to figure that out. So I don't necessarily think I couldn't have helped these business owners. I do think that I could have. They just weren't necessarily ready for that level of conversation in the call. So just putting that out there. And then the third one. So it's like, okay, we are 2 for 2. I think something's going on in my marketing, but I'm not really sure. So then a couple of days after, I had the third call, and it was more or less the same thing. Tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you can help me. And I was like, okay, this is like big red flags, like Las Vegas size neon signs going, Brittany, there is something wrong in your marketing. People do not understand how you can help them. And that's going to have underlying issues in your business, which I'll actually talk about a little bit closer to the end of the episode today, about how this is impacting your business if you leave it unaddressed long enough. So this was like the universe shouting at me that I had some edits that I needed to make in my own marketing. And I'm listening, and I'm also sharing this with you so that if you're experiencing this yourself, then you can help identify what the problem is and then also troubleshoot some of that yourself. Because oftentimes we come upon a problem and we think, social media management is the issue. Or is the solution to the issue that we have. And like I said, that's not always the case. In my case, it's actually I need to work on my messaging and the type of content that I'm creating. Having someone else manage my social media isn't going to solve my problem any better if all they do is more of what I've been doing. Okay, so after spending some time reflecting on my own marketing, I kind of identified the 3 kind of front-facing issues and then their underlying causes. So the front-facing issue, people have been following me for a while and I no longer offer social media management as a service. That's a forward-facing issue, pretty obvious for people to see. And some of these people have actually been following me for a little over a year, which goes to show you just how long of a nurture cycle it sometimes takes, especially for higher ticket services like social media management. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. So that's the forward-facing issue. People have been following me for a long time and they just didn't know that I don't offer that anymore. The underlying, behind the scenes of that is that I am not posting enough content about what it is that I'm doing now that is not social media management. So they just haven't seen a lot of new messages from me about how I can help them and what that looks like. So we need to be talking more about ways to work with me on social media. I need to be sharing more behind the scenes content of me actually doing things for clients so they can see the client transformation and understand what it would look like to work with me and what some of those outcomes look like. So for example, some of the things that I've been doing recently are email setups for clients, which are great. And I always have the intention of sharing that on social media, and then things get busy and I forget. But I really need to make that a priority in Q1 so that people are very clear about how I can help them because they've seen me do it for other people. So there are a couple creators that I follow that are really, really good at this. And it's just not something that I prioritize myself. So Izzy Wait Design, I think is her Instagram handle. I'll tag her in the show notes as well. She's fabulous and so fun to follow because she actually is really good about sharing what she's doing for clients, and she gets you to vote on the logo she does designing and the websites she's putting together for her clients. And also Val Kessler Writes, both of which who have been on the podcast. So I'm so grateful we've been able to connect in multiple capacities. So if you find them down below and you like them, definitely go and check out their podcast episodes. And Val's really great about sharing about the work she's doing for her clients in terms of the writing and things like that. So definitely look into those 2 accounts. So the second thing I really noticed after kind of doing my deep dive is okay, if I'm not talking about this in my content enough, then what are people seeing that's still leading them to believe that I offer social media management services? So I really had to do an audit of my own content. And if that's something that you're looking for, I do actually have a do-it-yourself audit guide that you can purchase and follow along with. I'll link that in the show notes as well. And one of the big things that kind of popped out for me was actually on social media. It's been a really, really long time since I updated my bio. And one of the first things you see when you look at my bio is my name and then the words social media. And there is no additional clarification about what that means. So to most people, the only thing for social media is social media management. They don't really realize that it's more nuanced than that, and that there are other ways that you can support people with social media without actually doing it for them. So I was like, okay, red flags, we need to fix this. So I actually did a couple posts talking about the changes that I did in my bio, but I'll just kind of share a brief rundown for you here. I wish that there were visuals that I could put on screen. If you're watching the video version, maybe Grayson can put it up over here. But basically my name line was Brittany, social media, email marketing, and podcasting, because those are the 3 areas I help people. But again, it didn't outline how I help in those areas. So it was super vague. And then my bio itself was making content creation fun and easy, which to me made sense. But again, also could be construed as someone who does it for you. I'm making it fun and easy. You're not doing it. And then I had some information that I was sharing, IG tips, ChatGPT prompts, and more. So again, just really vague. And also I share way more information than that, high level strategy stuff. So I just felt like it was kind of pigeonholing me. And the freebie that I was promoting was for my ChatGPT prompts, which is fine, but I'm in a different season of my business, and there's a better freebie that I should be promoting to get more people on my email list. So I was like, we've got to scrap this whole thing and basically start from the ground up. So I changed my name line. Now it says Brittany, business marketing strategist for busy entrepreneurs. So business marketing strategist might seem like kind of an odd job title for me, but it's actually a keyword. So I did a lot of SEO research into the words and phrases that people are searching to find someone like me. And I was really intentional about building those into my bio. So that was the best one that described what I do that people are actually looking for and are likely to find my profile because of it. And I have seen an increase in the number of people that are following me, although I will be fair and say that I have also started running some paid ads again because I have a masterclass coming up. So I can't say it for 100% for certain that it's because I put keywords in my bio. I know eventually it will be for that, but in the immediate term, it could be from my paid ads. So then in my bio, I've got Canadian email manager, podcast manager, and social media coach. So I really broke it down very specifically. Hint, hint, these are also keywords that people would search for, and put that information into my bio so people know, oh, she's a social media coach. She's not a social media manager, a social media coach. I tried to make that very clear. But we do email management and we do podcast management as well. So I did want people to know that if they want to outsource things, they can, just only in those 2 areas, not for social media. So then now I've also got, it says tips to scale your business without the hustle, because that is really what I'm focusing on myself for this year. It was what I was focusing on last year too, but this year, and what I want to help other entrepreneurs do. So spoiler alert, I will have a podcast episode coming out soon. I'm not sure when, but soon. And it's a special request episode about what it looks like to actually transition your business off of social media. So that's what I kind of want to lean towards in my business, helping you set up a business so that social media becomes a choice, not a necessity, because I know that it is not for everyone and it is not the only way to run your business. You can still have a very successful business without social media. And I talk about all of that in the content that I put out on socials, in my podcast episodes, all of that good stuff. So I really wanted people to know that hustling and creating 17 reels a day does not have to be the way you run your business. So hopefully that's what that line gets at. And then my call to action right now is DM bio for a free Instagram profile template. And again, Instagram profile template, SEO keyword. So we were really fitting it in everywhere there. So hopefully when people are searching on social media, I'm going to come up. But also if they're doing searches off social media, hopefully my profile will still show up in those searches, because that's kind of like a new thing that's going on right now. I actually talked about that in my masterclass. So hopefully this episode will go out before it happens. If you're listening, definitely make sure you check the description down below and register so that you can come and learn all about that, because I talk a little bit about SEO and how that works for Instagram in the masterclass. And it's in my course content too. So even if you don't make it for the masterclass, you can still join the course. And there's an entire 45-minute module on how to conduct SEO research and then how to put it in your Instagram profile so that you organically show up in searches and get more followers faster. Okay. So that was number 2. My bio needed updating. And kind of in and along that line, number 3, I realized that literally all of my other marketing collateral still says social media, which is very vague. So the first person that I had a call with actually saw me driving around town. So they saw the stickers on my car, which is good. The stickers on my cars work. Woo! $100 well spent. But they're also like a year and a half old at this point, and they basically just say social media and email marketing. So they don't even mention that I offer podcasting as a service. And again, people see them, think social media, and think social media management, not social media coach. So at some point, I am going to need to reprint my stickers. Ouchie to the budget. I mean, $100 isn't that bad, but still. So all of those things need to be reordered. Probably my business cards too, but truthfully, I don't use those nearly as much, so I don't really care about that. But also, in addition to my print advertising, which needs marketing, messaging refresh, my digital presence also does. So this has actually been something that I've been aware of and actively working on. But y'all, when you have like 50 pages on your website, updating it is like a full-time job on top of your full-time job of running your business. Even though it's related to running your business, it's like a separate job. It really is. And then, you're also a parent. We've been selling our house and just like all the things, and it's just not done. It is just flat out not done. It is probably going to take me until the end of this year to finish updating my website. And it just is what it is. So that is just one of those things that I kind of have to come to terms with. I'm aware of the problem and I am doing my absolute best to fix it. It's just not in my schedule to do it any sooner. But these are all things that you have to be aware of, so that I also am like, kind of accepting the fact that I may have more calls throughout the year with these people that are still looking for services that I don't offer because I have not had time to completely update everything. It also means that I do need to go through my website with a fine-tooth comb, but also a lot of my long-form content. So I know that there's not a lot that I can do in the way of this. Like, I'm not going to take down a podcast episode if it's talking about social media management or if it has a social media management call to action at the end of it, because there's still good content in the episodes. But I'm going to go back through some of my blog posts and make sure that I'm taking all of that out and instead subbing in, if you're looking for social media management or if you're looking for social media support, consider a coaching option, or maybe download my social success planner, which helps you become kind of your own social media manager. So it's really being intentional about swapping out those calls to action so that there's just as little information out there in my brand realm that talks about a service that I no longer offer. It's also a really good idea to go through your website. I would do it like once every 6 months, once every year at the latest, to just make sure the information is accurate, not only in terms of like the services you offer, but just like general information. So we were looking at my about page the other day and I was like, hot damn, we obviously have not edited this in a while because it is a video and Rhett is a baby. Like, Luca, nowhere to be seen. Content very clearly, mom of 3. I was like, damn, Luca's like, 8, 9 months now. So like, obviously it's been a while since we've done this. And like, things like that change. That's natural. Life goes on. But you need to reflect it in your online presence as well. So like, something else that's on my radar too is needing to redo the intro and outro for Go Get Great. I've actually had it written out for a year, guys. A year. And it's just a case of recording podcasts is easy because it doesn't require a lot of like video. Like, we do video with it for YouTube, but like not like professional level, like marketing commercial-esque video, which is what I need for the intro and outro, which has to go on YouTube and requires a video. So we just have not had time. It's really hard to like balance our once a month date nights if we're lucky, because Grace and I cannot take children to go out and do this level of recording that needs good video and good audio. I have children screaming in the background because it's just, it's not easy. It is not easy. Anyway, so that is like The third piece of that is you need to go through and like refresh your digital presence and all of those wonderful things, because it will send mixed messages to potential clients. And here's the kicker: mixed messages, not good, like really, really not good. So I was actually fortunate that these 3 people reached out to book a call to at least give me the opportunity to connect with them when they really didn't know how I could help them. Because 99% of the time, if someone cannot very clearly identify how you will help them, they are not going to send an email to ask you about it. And they are not going to invest their precious time into booking a call with you to ask that question. So you guys, this is really hurting your sales. So I mean, yes, it's a messaging problem. I need to update my messaging. And it's also a marketing problem because I'm not talking about it in my social content enough. I haven't published enough podcast episodes or blog posts, etc., etc. And I'm not emailing enough about it. Yeah, I know it's been on my to-do list too, but in just like behind the scenes world, because I'm excited, I took podcasting photos so I can finally promote the service that we've offered for the last year and a half, because you can't promote a service when you have no pictures. And you know what? Truthfully, Canva does not have good podcasting stock photos. So we needed to do some of our own. So we did some. I still need more, but we did some. So stay tuned. I'll probably be sending an email about that later. And actually, I was thinking maybe I would try and sell some of the stock photos to anyone else who has a podcast and needs them, because like I said, Canva, not great options. And stock photos are really expensive to buy a stock photo membership. So stay tuned. If that's something you're interested in, send me a DM, because if someone tells me they want it, it will happen 8 million light years faster than when I just like get around to it in my own business. Okay, so yeah, just really to nail this home, because I got a little distracted here. Unclear messaging and unclear marketing will be the death of your business, because people will not spend time on something that they do not understand. So you really, really need to make sure that your messaging is super clear. That's the wording that you use. That's copywriting and brand voice. But you also need to make sure that your visuals make sense and align with your messaging. That's marketing. That's photography. That's videography. That's all of that stuff. Sometimes it's also website design. Really, it's anything that you put together. It can be Pinterest content at this point, but it's all tied to your marketing, and it's really important that it all tells the same story. Okay, and then just, as one more like quick wrap up, 4 signs that it's time to change your bio. So, number 1, you have changed your product or service offerings. You need to update that. Number 2, you've changed your niche or the clients you serve. This could mean that you've niched down, and now instead of helping entrepreneurs, you only help moms who work from home. Or it could be that you've expanded your audience, and now you help entrepreneurs worldwide instead of just entrepreneurs in Canada. So the third thing, it's a new season in your business, which means that you need to update your freebie, aka your call to action in your bio. You may not need to do a whole bio refresh if this is the case, but you do need to update your CTA. And sometimes that actually means you need to do an entire bio update, because you don't always have enough characters, whatever the new thing is that you're promoting. So that's the third thing. And then the fourth and last thing, your following is confused about what you do. So this is where I came in. Technically, I updated my bio somewhat last year when I dropped social media management as a service. But what I changed in it, turns out, is not clear to my audience. So we needed to go back and do it again. So we're going to test this out for another few months. If by May, June, I'm still having calls with people and they're like, so what do you do? Then that means that I need to go back and do it again. I'm really hoping that's not the case. I tried to be as laser specific as I possibly could in my 150 characters, while also building in the, 5 other things that you need to include in your bio, because there's 6 key components of a bio that converts. That's just one of them. But yeah, I hope that's good. So I hope this episode was really helpful for you. Like I said, I really like to share those live examples, because I think that there's a lot that can be learned from the things that other entrepreneurs fail at, struggle with, hurdles they overcome, so that you don't have to go through the same, what has it been? 8 months since I dropped the service. And, people are like, so what does Brittany do now? Which is obviously impacting my sales. So let's not have you have an 8-month sale. What's the word for that? dry spell. We're going to say dry spell for lack of a better word. Let's not do dry January for 8 months in your business. Let's not. So again, last call to action for this episode, show notes. Come to my masterclass. If not, check out my course. It is on a pay what you can model. So you can enroll at any time at a price point that works well for your business, because I fully believe that you should be able to invest and develop your own skill sets without a budget being a problem. That is just like one of my personal pillars in my business. So we've been rolling that out slowly to some of my services. And if you happen to get in sometime soon, I do have an accountability group that is a specific time period. So you either hit it or you don't, depending on when you're listening to this. But would love to see you guys in some of that, help you update your bios, get better results from your marketing and your messaging, learn a little bit about SEO along the way, and it will be great. So I will be back next week with some more episodes. Maybe next week will be the special request one about getting off social media. I'm not sure. Haven't planned that far out yet, but I'm really excited. It's a good episode. Got a lot of great information in there. So I am rambling. We're going to wrap it up. We will see you next week on the Go Get Great podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Go Get Great. I hope you found some useful tips and tricks that can help you make life and business work together. If what I said resonates with you, please share it on social media, and don't forget to tag at Brittany Miller Socials so that I can celebrate you for taking those first steps towards achieving greatness. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes dedication, hard work, and a lot of spirit. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after what you want. Keep striving for greatness. You get closer with every step forward, no matter how small they may seem. Until next time, go get great.